What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another ad hoc video. In this video, I will be talking to you about case statements. So we're getting into kind of our more advanced features of ad hoc. What we're going to do is combine what we learned in that calendar date video with our timestamp difference and apply a case statement. So as always, I invite you to log into the live site and follow along with me on your end. So in this report, we're going to build a flag report. And what I want to do is easily identify those members who have been flagged under 90 days, over 90 days, and over 180 days. Might be triggering a different level of command to review it. So we're going to do that by applying a case statement. Okay, I've pulled across a couple of fields here. I have full name, we have restriction item description, restriction initial begin date, and our restriction item code. For our filters down here, I've filtered category description is equal to SFPA. So we're only looking at our flags for our restrictions. Our initial begin date is not null and our initial end date is null. So only active flags for this report. Just click on results real quick and take a look. This is what our report looks like right now. Okay. Now, like I said, we want to identify based off this initial begin date who's been flagged under 90 days, who's been flagged between 90 and 180, and who's flagged over 180 days. Okay. The first thing I want to do is take a look at this restriction item code. So obviously, being IPPS-A, we should know by now that the flag or the codes for each column look a little bit different than what we're used to. So in this case, for the restriction item code, it has the word flag in front of our actual flag code, Alpha, Romeo, Victor, so on. Now what I want to do is just get rid of that word flag so it only displays the code, similar to what our old reports are used to. Let's go back to our criteria tab, hover over our tools for item code, and we're going to edit the formula. We're going to insert a function, and the subfolder we want is string. So under string, you should have a right function. So just like Excel, we have right and left functions, and what it's going to do is it's going to take an expression, ask you to apply an integer. So how many characters from the right of this expression do I want it to return? So in this case, I just want it to return that one code on the right of that column. Select OK. So restriction item code and our integer is 1. I'm going to change my custom heading real quick. Let's call it flag code. Select OK and check the results. So now you can see it's only returning that flag code that we're all used to. So I just got rid of the word flag and it's only returning the code. So something that I like to do that makes the reports a little bit more familiar and kind of a cool tool that you can use. So now we want to get into our case statements. So we go back to our criteria tab and I want to add another restriction column. So I can edit a formula for my case statement. I'm going to come down to edit formula. Get rid of that. And I'm going to insert a function. So our case statement function is in our expression subfolder. If I hit the drop down for my expression subfolder, I have a case if statement. Now our case statements can be relatively complex, but they're also very simple, simple to understand. So all it's saying is a case when this condition is met, then the cell will display this. For everything else that does not meet this condition, you want the cell to display this. Now you can build a case statement with as many conditions as you want, but it has to follow this syntax format. So case when condition 1 is met, then tell me this. When condition 2 is met, then tell me this. And this case statement will always end with the word end. So we're going to insert this statement. And keeping in mind, we want to identify those members who have been flagged under 90 days, between 90 and 180, and over 180, which might be triggering a commander review. Okay. So I'm going to say case when our request condition 1. So I'm going to highlight that condition, and we're going to insert another function. We're going to insert that timestamp difference function that we already learned about in our calendar date video. So timestamp difference under our calendar date subfolder. And I want to know how many days, so my interval is going to be days, are in between that initial flag date and the current date. So I'm going to copy my interval for SQL PSI day. So case when timestamp difference in days. My first date is going to be my initial begin date, and my second date is going to be the day or current date. So when that timestamp difference for days between initial begin date for my restriction and today is between 90 and 179, then in single quotations, I want it to say over 90 needs commander review. So let's take a look at it one more time. A case when my timestamp difference in days from my restriction initial begin date and today is between 90 and 179, then I want it to say over 90 needs commander review. For everything else, in single quotations, I'm just going to type other for now. And we're going to take a quick look at the results to see if it worked. Select OK. And check the results. So we can see here what our case statement is doing. It's applying that text. Anything that's in between those dates, it's saying over 90. For everything else, it's saying other. I'm going to go back to criteria, and we're going to take the case statement a few steps further. So I'm going to go back to edit formula. Just change our custom heading real quick. And we'll just call it flag review. So I'm going to add another condition to this case statement. So I already have between 90 and 179, say over 90. When you want to carry on a case statement to another condition, we're just going to continue with the word when. So after the word when, what's our next condition? So when, I'm going to copy that timestamp difference. When that timestamp difference is greater than or equal to 180, then I want it to say over 180 needs brigade commander review. So all I did was say when, which continues the case statement and asks for another condition. I copied the timestamp difference. So when that timestamp difference is now greater than or equal to 180 days, then it's going to display this text, over 180 needs brigade commander review. For everything else, I wanted to say under 90 days. Because for everything else that doesn't meet these two conditions, obviously it's going to be under 90. And then I end my case statement with the word end. So your formula should now look like this. I have two conditions applied, And for everything else, it's going to say under 90 and end. Select OK. And check your results. So you can see now I have over 180, needs brigade commander. I have over 90, I have under 90. We've easily identified those flags that may need to be reviewed by using a simple case statement. And like I mentioned before, case statements can be very complex, but they're also conceptually easy to understand. All you're saying is a case when this condition is met, then you want the cell to tell you this. You just have to be careful about your single quotations. You have to be careful about your parentheses if you're adding multiple conditions. The smallest thing can throw your statement off, right? So you just have to pay close attention to it if you're continuing to get errors. But you can apply a case statement to virtually anything you want. Now you could also take this a step further based on what we learned about our conditional formatting. So if I wanted to go back to criteria and just apply a quick conditional format to my flag review column. Just hover over my tools, go to column properties, apply a conditional format. And I'm just going to say when it's over 180, then I want that text to be red. Okay. I'll add one more and just say when it's over 90, then I want that text to be, we'll just pick orange. Select OK and view the results. So you can see here we've applied a quick conditional format, just another way to easily identify or format your report. So that's all I got for you on this video about case statements. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you did, don't forget to follow us. Don't forget to give us a like. And thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you on the next video. Defend and serve.